Hey y'all, McKay Simpson. I'm the senior minister of University United Methodist Church here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it is another midweek devotional for these early days of February. So my whole life I have been enamored with and curious about art and the ways that art opens up a window, if not a door, to understand more of what it means to be human in a way that transcends words, transcends language. It just kind of speaks to all of us at a very basic way a lot of the time. And I've been thinking about art as it relates to delight, the delight and joy that we're experiencing or called to experience by God in our daily living, and one that is often fleeting to find for many of us. So I'm sitting right now in our sanctuary right here on LSU's campus, and in this sanctuary, if you've been here at all, you know that there are some beautiful windows that depict all sorts of biblical stories and other theological truths from more abstract ways of representing them. And one of the most abstract windows and one of the most beautiful ones to me is this window that I'm sitting right in front of, and it is called Chromatic Fantasia. I did a little bit of research on this because every single window has a story, and it is named that for the piece that was written by Johannes Bach from about like the 1700s. I think it was 1720-ish or something like that. And he really wrote a work that was just so dynamic and was supposed to reflect the rises and falls of emotion that come from the singing of a choir or the praises of a congregation or perhaps the shouts and squeals of delight of a crowd. And this window has been dedicated for a former choir director of ours that's very well beloved, Esther Sokolowski. And so I'm just going to try to enhance the color a little bit because I want you to see the whole thing. It's simple yet profound. You have this window that towers up to the roof, and you see these colored orbs or spheres. And you also can see that in every single panel, maybe there's a different colored sphere or circle, but around it is this cacophony of color, if not kaleidoscopic feeling, and cacophony of, we believe, voices that are represented through these colors as well. And so I just find myself thinking, I always try to find a text to lift up for us today. And today I'm thinking specifically about Psalm 100, which is, again, all of these songs in the Bible are worshipful. Some are lamenting, some give praise to God. And this one is one of the most simple praise songs that maybe we could even remember some of the words to say as a breath prayer in times where we want to give God thanks. This is from Psalm 100 in the King James Version. Don't usually read from that, but the language is nice. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness, and come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God, and that he hath made us, not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful to him and bless his name. For the Lord is good, God's mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth for all generations. I think this is just a lovely piece to remind us of the very simple opportunity that we always have to give thanks and praise, even when it doesn't make sense, even when life may not be so peachy, right? But that praise can sometimes act us into believing or act us into a new way of seeing. And I know that I kind of use that tactic in my life in times where I need to be pulled out of a pit or an emotional, spiritual trench or dry land. And so, looking at this window and all of the ways that each of the circles have various colors, solid among them, but then they're surrounded by the very same colors in the other windows. It reminds me that there's this age-old truth that we are all separate in our uniqueness and also deeply connected within those ways that we find commonality in life, the ways that we have similar experiences, whether they are known or perhaps hidden and held silent in us. And that really helps us to assume that we have so much more in common than we have different among us. The piece of music that this art depicts, or at least is created in honor of the music correlates well and really just has these contrasting dynamics, even trying to suggest that this color is a visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And the frequency, depending on that visible wavelength, is really a relationship to sound that has also a vibration. So there's something about the light that we see and the sound that we hear, and how it can play together to help us see the beauty of God in surprising and formidable ways. So, I'm one of those people, even though I'm a pastor, I absolutely love Mardi Gras season. Even though it may not always be a clean time, folks have a great time there and might sometimes go a little overboard on some days. But man, there's just nothing better than being at a Mardi Gras ball, seeing everybody dance, and seeing the ways that a crowd moves and speaks together, responds together in joy and delight to what they're seeing and what they might receive from the people up above. There's an artistry really to the music that happens and the floats that are created that might be satirical, like some we have in Baton Rouge, or might be just works of pure beauty that celebrate our culture and our area in this country that is so rich with tradition and history. And I think the celebration of Mardi Gras of these next few weeks is going to be more important now than ever, mainly because we have been such a kind of downtrodden folk, if you will, over these past couple of years with COVID. I mean, we sort of had Mardi Gras last year. There were some parades outside, but at the end of the day, a lot of it both in 2020 and 21 was canceled. So this is the first time where we're ever really allowed to come alive once again. There was an ancient church theologian called Irenaeus that said some version of what many, many theologians have said, something to the effect of, the glory of God is humanity made alive. And so as many of us are probably still working through some feelings of despair or emptiness with this endless Omicron plagued winter, maybe you didn't get to visit family like you planned this Christmas, and maybe things have been interrupted again this January and February with some of the surge happening and then finally, thank goodness, descending in our community. And just winter in general is a very gray time where it seems like color and rich artistry in nature is kind of asleep, and it's not exactly awake yet for spring to come with all sorts of emerging new life that reminds us that we are still capable of bringing forth that new life too. I saw this week there was a poet, Jack Gilbert, that wanted to point a way out of his hopeless net of knots in his life. And he said, the beauty of the dawn and the sunset, the sound of laughter, and so much more are evidence that God wants us to enjoy ourselves. Even a world filled with sorrow and slaughter and suffering. His impassioned poem, A Brief for the Defense, he says this: we must risk delight. We can do without pleasure, but not delight, not enjoyment. We must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world. to make the troubles and injustice of our lives the only measure of our attention is to praise the devil himself. Whoa, those are some pretty pointed words, and words that I think have great wisdom for us. I don't know about you, I have a hard time sometimes grabbing joy and delight in my life, seeking it out as if it is a mandate from God. Often, if you're like me, I treat it as a luxury. It is the thing that happens after work if we have some bandwidth or some time, maybe a quick dinner with family or a nice happy hour with close friends. But really, I think the message is for us to find all of the beautiful ways that color can be reignited in our lives. Jack Gilbert also said things about art and the artistry of our lives and how it can enhance us and others around us as we continue to live as disciples in God's name. He says, art can be joyous, exciting, life-enhancing, fun-packed, insight-provoking, exalting. This art that brings joy in life can be terrifying, frenetic, devastating, deadening, and life-draining, illusion-shattering. But when the art of our lives is mostly all of the first category, it means the go-ahead signal for everything else is on. When the art of our lives is mainly of the second category, it's time to go dancing. And I really love those words, because just like the color in this beautiful window is dancing, almost has a movement to it, even though it is static and stationary, blessing all that come to worship in this room today. I wonder how your life, even with all of its confines and all of its structure, can find some level of freedom from the rigidity to be able to shout out joy and laughter when we need it today more than any day than I can remember. So I pray this for you, that you will heed the call to make sure that you are one among many in humanity that are made alive through bringing glory to God by just being human and living and enjoying what it is to have these days that are given as a gift. So find that one way that you can step out beyond your own schedule, your own regular rhythm, and insert a new bit of color and movement and artistry. And you might discover that you find more of the sacred in those seemingly ordinary places than you ever might in a church. So I pray this for you. I wish you well, and happy Mardi Gras, y'all. May the good times roll.